Standing on the cliffs with the pick in my hand, mining salt for the Moors in Austria land. Escape from the cage, blue-eyed, no tan, but you gotta understand that DNA strand from the Moabite mother's womb, that was the plan. Got etched on the pyramids in Egypt sand. Showed us how to bathe, upright we stand. Voodoo, cook food with pots and pans. Wrap us in the sheet like Ku Klux Klan. All we ate was cherry, spit the seed in your hand. Now we on top and the cycle's the same. Hit the gnosis of the Moors, Allah released it again. Leather pheasant tassel, what they found in Hallstatt. Gold figurines of Moors with conical caps. Holding circle 7 wheels, monkey child on the lap. Voila, now Allah got the movement on track. On track, Allah got the movement on track. Celtic, Troglodyte, Moorish, Magi, facts. Allah got the movement on track. Celtic, Troglodyte, Moorish, Magi, facts.
So here in Central Europe by the 8th century BC, a new society was emerging. Archaeologists are still working here. In prehistoric times, salt preserved food. It also preserved the remains of those who mined it. Bits of cloth, a miner's axe, leather, the miner's rucksack, perfectly preserved, as are his other simple possessions, his horn drinking cup, his tasseled cap, his tasseled cap, his tasseled cap, scant clothing and mining axes. Conditions here were horrendous. The miners, troglodytes, working, eating, and sleeping in the mines for days on end. Life was cheap, mining disasters frequent.
So the archaeologists found these headdresses, and the masters of the Celtic troglodytes they found in the caves, they wore these. They say they was worshiping the sun, but upon them etched is the solar and lunar calendar. They was studying the sky.
Those who worked and died here were slaves. Living on basic necessities, a few cherry pips survived the unknown miner who died here. A few cherry pips survived the unknown miner who died here. A few cherry pips survived the unknown miner who died here. The slaves who mined the salt from these mountains had their masters. They were buried in style. In 1846, a government director of mining, George Ramsar, discovered their remains. Archaeology owes him a great debt. Here, in what is now common alpine pasture land, he unearthed a huge Iron Age cemetery. Over 1,000 graves were excavated, each meticulously recorded. Some were cremated in the old tradition, and in some graves elaborate bronze containers discovered. This one decorated with solar and duck-like symbols. Others were buried, sometimes in pairs. Some went armed to the other world, but not necessarily for battle. This bronze scabbard with its slender iron sword is vividly decorated. 2 men hold between them a spoked wheel. The cave rituals of Bohemia are matched by this piece from Austria, a large bowl supported by a goddess with her entourage. At the head, 2 warriors hold on to the antlers of a stag. Warriors with conical caps. Many argue it depicts a scene of ritual sacrifice to a Celtic goddess of fertility. The sun was worshipped, and is here pulled through the skies by a mystical horse. This animal was to take a prominent place in the story of the Celts. Carried with them their simple but precious trinkets. 2 men hold between them a spoked wheel. 2 men hold between them a spoked wheel, the sun symbol.
In October of 2022 is when I acquired the building so that I could start having the Cornish temple. And this was one of the first videos that I put up. However, the quality of the audio was not good at all. It was very low. So I was able to get the sound enhanced, and we can go over it, like as far as the very important bullet points. And this is to all Celtics, those that are Cornish, Irish, Kentish, Scottish, etc. You have these archaeologists that are stating, the first Celtic culture in regards to Celtic troglodytes. Now, pale skins are the modern Celtics, because we know of the Moors in regards to what they called the so-called conical cap, but it's the fez with the tassel. Also, they spoke of the cherry pits, where the troglodyte Celtics ate cherries. which is connected directly with George Washington cutting down the cherry tree, again connected to the Moors with the Moorish flag. But the green 5-pointed star, they were speaking about the fertility goddess, and that's who, in regards to the Celtics, is Venus. That's who the mother is, because she reflects the light off of the sun. What they said that they was worshiping the sun, but they was practicing astrology and astronomy. Well, they wasn't practicing it. They was adepts in it. They was Magi Moorish scientists. The reflection of the sun off of Venus and getting the information. Another bullet point is the circle 7. That's what the Moors have, the circle 7. Then when you look in Ezekiel 7, it speaks of Ezekiel's wheel. And that's what they was holding up. They said a golden spoked wheel. In regards to the circle 7, the perfection of man through the light of knowledge reflecting off of Venus, etc. I was meaning to take the audio and enhance it, but I didn't get a chance to. I've been busy doing other studies. But we did it today, brothers and sisters. We're going to get into the caves of what they call Africa, where there was a melanated Moor, a king as they called him, who had a black fez, and he said there was blue-eyed, blonde-haired beings in the caves there, and they would let them out during war so that they would help them fight wars. So we're going to go over that reading real quick. They called them berserkers, but really the main focus on this is to show you the migration from Austria, whether it was Hallstatt or Stenick, the migration from Hallstatt or Austria to Cornwall or Ireland or Scotland, and then to the Americas. I'm going to break down the migration of it. I'm going to show you that our ancestors was actually all in Hallstatt, because you want to tie back to your most ancient bloodline and honor your foremothers and forefathers. All have been colonized, taught to speak foreign languages and all that. So we got to tie ourselves back as far as we can, and that's what I've done here. The archaeologists told you this was the first Celtic culture, the Troglodyte Celtics in the caves of Austria, whose masters was the Moors, those that studied astronomy and astrology, the sun, the moon, Venus. They brought mathematics, algebra, architecture, musical instruments, canaling, navigating the seas, showed us how to take baths and stay clean, our diets, brought us into the Renaissance, brought us out of darkness into marvelous light. Actually, in regards to the Ceres or Sirius, or the Dogons who wear a red fez, who say they're from the planet 7. But see, you'll have to get into Rick Smith if you want to get into the more adept lessons of what I'm speaking about, of why we was in the caves doing all this labor. Because there was certain Moors that wanted to assist us and give us knowledge, and then there was others that didn't, because their specific mission was to have us do labor, getting resources, mining salt, tin, gold, silver, diamonds, all that. That's why the Cornish hold mining so close, because it ties back to our ancestry. But when you look up troglodyte, you see that it is a hybrid. When you look up the Erebra troglodyte Nigar monkey, it says it's a hybrid. So we was strong. We was like apes then. So we could be digging from mountain to mountain underground. Mysterious cave temples of Africa, told by Zabir, the slave king of Africa. And as you see, he has a black fez on. He's a Muslim. He's a Moor. Stories of purely native origin insist that they are in the mountain fastness of equatorial African races of white-skinned, blue-haired, blue-eyed men and women entirely cut off since time immemorial from any contact with the outer world. Central Africa, entire systems of temples hidden away in the caves of those regions that equal, if they do not exceed in splendor, those already discovered in Egypt. So the studies we did on the Cornish creed demonstration, the secret creed that the Cornish had in the Americas, they spoke about the Ascutney Mountain. They said they secretly called it Fujiyama. But Fujiyama ain't on this side. Fujiyama's over there, right? Well, how do you know that there ain't a tunnel that connects? Peter Moon also does these studies about different caves being connected underground from one side of the earth to the other, and they found different entrances. And when they destroyed one side of the entrance, all the way on the other side, wherever the other officer was, they said that there was stuff going on all the way over there when they destroyed the entrance on that side. The resources we use today from Earth compressed sand, platinum, silver, gold, to use in all these devices. The technology that was back then in regards to the Magi that was doing astrology and astronomy, they was high science. So you don't know what they could do. Just like you seen that Moor in the newspaper. To you, that's just the elder. For all you know, he knew a high science. For all you know, he's been to the moon and back 10 times. And you could just tell that our technology is far ahead of our capabilities. It came from ancient knowledge. Between 1876 and 1910, some 3.5 million people migrated to the Americas from Habsburg monarchy, 1.8 million from the Austrian provinces, and 1.7 million from Hungarian ones. 7.5% of Pittsburgh's 500,000 population came from Austria-Hungary, the largest immigrant cohort in the years before World War I. The Great War stopped this massive migration flow from Central Europe. So where you think they was going, straight from Austria to the Americas? No, you was migrating out and you was hitting Cornwall, Scotland, Ireland. But the whole shakeup was, you want to speak about the popes of Rome against the Moors, or Portugal and France, what you want to call United States, always on Portugal's heels, assisting the Christians with colonizing the Moorish Empire. And either you was going to stay and fight with the Moors or you was going to get ran out. And that's what you did. You either ran out because you was scared, or you went out to assist the Christians and go and fight in foreign lands, or you would stay and fight. But I know this much, all of our ancestors abandoned their land of origin, so we're not backed by any kind of value, no resources, because we're in foreign lands. Our ancestors came from over there, so we should want to go back to our land of origin. Like I always say, then we can receive economic rehabilitation, return back to our land of origin, and be backed by our resources of our land. You can't have value in foreign land because you don't have the actual possession of the resources. Those that claim to have the resources of foreign land, they're foreign corporations that are colonizing by force. So yeah, our ancestors abandoned their land in hopes of coming over here to get a spoonful of milk and honey, to live the so-called American dream. But they abandoned their resources, their birthright, their land of origin. So therefore, again, they are not backed by any kind of wealth. We knew how to use our backs, though, and those that wanted profit knew how to use that, and they used it until our backs broke. As I already said, Rick Smith breaks it down in detail, that paradigm about why we was in the caves being used for labor in regards to, I said, the hybrids being breeded to be strong in certain ways and dumb in other ways. But then you had Moors that wanted to assist because it was wrong. You had those that was actually smarter than what they thought they was going to be. But you can get into that with Rick Smith. Also, what comes to mind is Adolf Hitler, because he was looking for the pure race, the Aryan race, and this might have been them. You know what I'm saying? It's, the other cave said that they was blonde hair, blue eyes. I leave you in peace and love, brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration in regards to the Celtic Troglodytes in Austria.
Get all these books in your life, because now is the time. Now is the time. You're going to do it later on. You're going to figure out you forgot. And you're going to be like, damn, what was that book called again? You're going to figure out you forgot.